And we are here. Only two left standing here at the Pacific Coast Open here in Vancouver, BC. Joanna Cooper up against Jim Aken in the championship final of the Bruce Matheson Open Singles. It's the second edition of this tournament. The winner will walk home with $1,600, part of the total prize pool of $13,600. And the fans here have been entertained with some incredible world-class bowls over the last week, and it just goes to show some of the strength of especially some of the younger and better developed players here coming up in Canada. The two players have started their trial bowls, and we will be back after a few words from our sponsors.
The Pacific Coast Open is brought to you in part by the Matheson Family Foundation, a registered charity organization. Having donated more than $1 million to more than 250 charities and organizations, it's all about giving back to the community.
The Pacific Coast Open is funded in part by a Vancouver Community Sports Hosting Grant from the City of Vancouver and the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation.
The Pacific Coast Open is brought to you in part by World Financial Group. Let Derek Gann and Rachel Wong help build your wealth strategy. Your life insurance and financial service professionals.
The Pacific Coast Open is funded in part by a hosting grant from Via Sport BC and the province of British Columbia. And welcome back to the Pacific Indoor Bowling Club, where we are just about set to begin our championship final of the Bruce Matheson Open Singles competition. Joanna Cooper from Calgary, Alberta, up against Vancouver, BC's Jim Aken. And both of these players managed to come through to the final through some very difficult terrain. In the semifinal, Joanna Cooper was able to defeat one of the top bowlers in this tournament and half of the Pacific Coast Open mixed pairs champion, Pat Bird. That was in the first semifinal. And in our feature semifinal that we just completed airing, it was Jim Aken with a thrilling extra end win over Jerome Kirby from Manitoba. So both of these players, very experienced. Joanna was one of only a handful of players to come through unbeaten in the group stage, and in fact, now that she's in the final, she has been unbeaten throughout this entire tournament. So it'll be a tall order for Jim Aken to take on the so far perfect Joanna Cooper. Jim Aken, meanwhile, who had to come to the final the hard way, did manage to win the 3 games in the group stage that he needed in order to advance, but also needed to play an extra knockout game early this morning. So this is actually the 4th game that Jim has played today, including the knockout stage, the quarterfinal, and of course the semifinal that he just completed. Jim also, another feather in Jim's cap is the fact that he was also able to knock out the defending Pacific Coast Open Singles champion, Will Hall, during the quarterfinal. He also needed extra ends in order to do that. So we're in for really interesting final and maybe a contrast of styles. And Joanna has been excellent throughout this tournament so far and is very highly regarded. We had a really good look at some of the bowls that she rolled in their semifinal win over Pat Bird just about maybe 20 minutes ago. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge today, and so we're going to try and keep track of this best we can. As you can see right now, both bowlers have very dark bowls. Jim Aken is bowling some very dark brown Drake's Pride professionals, and they are a massive size 5. Meanwhile, Joanna Cooper is bowling size 1 Henselite Dreamliners, and they are dark black. And so the organizers have asked Jim Aitken to put some light blue decals on his bowls that's to make it just a little bit easier for us here to and for everyone here in the club to see perhaps who's holding. Joanna Cooper has thrown the jack and we are underway. Championship final on the line. Tom Berridge is our marker for today. Tom's been quite prominent throughout this tournament, and his players will have no difficulty hearing him when they ask questions. Tom's quite clear in his communication. Joanna Cooper's second bowl. She holds both in the back now. Jim Akin's bowl up top. And that's a nice move by Jim, just bumping Joanna's bowl and gaining better position on the jack. And Joanna Cooper is able to draw just behind the jack, and pretty clear that she is holding one. Tom Berridge saying that the jack is about 6 inches from the bowl. Jim will take a walk. And he'll just brush by that lead bowl. So Joanna Cooper holding one as she approaches for her last bowl of the first end. We also have a third place game underway on rink 2, where Pat Bird is taking on Jerome Kirby, and we will bring you updates on that as that match progresses. And Joanna Cooper's final bowl of the first end of the first set, scheduled for 2 sets of 7 ends. Player who wins 2 sets or wins one and draws one will win the match. That's wonderful from Joanna Cooper, and that will leave Jim Aitken with a bit of a dilemma on his last bowl. Joanna Cooper is holding 2 at the moment, and it's those 2 bowls that you see right by the jack. Jim Aitken's dark brown bowl with the blue decal is in front, and believe also those 2 in the back as well. And the final bowl at the first end of this first set. And this one is going to turn aside, and Joanna Cooper will be on the board first here in this championship final. So at the moment appears to be two. We'll wait for the players to determine that, and it's fairly routine business for them. And Jim Aken with the draw just in front of the jack. And Cooper with the follow up. Now, we mentioned earlier that, of course, that Joanna Cooper is unbeaten in this tournament, but it goes even farther than that. She has not lost a single set this whole time, and shots like that are part of the reason why. The only set that she did not win outright was the final end of the semifinal today, where she tied the set with Pat Bird. And the win and the tie was enough to carry her through to the final. But Joanna Cooper has been nothing less than perfect in this tournament so far. Look at this from Jim Aitken, and that is a beaut. That is a beauty. And this will make Cooper walk the distance to have a look. Not bowl in the back is the difference. I should correct myself. Joanna Cooper has not lost a set. Coming through and just a bit long, creating an opening for Jim Aken to get on the board here. And it is on target. And look at this. Great stuff from Jim Aitken here in the second end. And he may have leveled the match here. And it is indeed 2 to Jim Aitken. And that is an excellent start to this championship final. Both players trading points. And we are tied at 2. Jim wasting no time throwing the jack and getting us back underway here in the third end. Little applause on that opening draw from the home crowd. Joanna Cooper showing herself to be on top of what is a very, very strong contingent that came to the tournament from the Calgary Lawn Bowling Club. Um, Several players, including Pat Bird, had excellent tournaments and certainly have shown their colors here in Vancouver. Jim Aken's bowl rolls in, maybe doesn't get such a friendly flop, but he's in a good spot. And the toucher from Joanna. Jim Aken still holding there. You can tell by the blue decal on his bowl. Should note that Joanna's black Dreamliners have green decals on them, and that'll also help us all differentiate between the two players. This is right on the jack, and it goes right through the head. Just a hair off. And both players will come down to the head and have a look. Meanwhile, in the third place match, they are already in the fourth end of the first set, and Pat Bird has a 4-2 lead over Jerome Kirby in that match. So Jim Aken holding looks to be one at the moment. This is Aken's bowl with the blue decal right here, and that's the nearest one from Joanna Cooper. I'll do my best to try and help our viewing audience out with that. It may not be so easy to see on air. Aken coming in. Is he going to draw inside? And oh, that little flop at the end may not be enough for second. And Cooper has her final bowl coming up. And she's going to try and take out that bowl. She closes it all down, and this may not have worked out for Joanna as she had hoped. And it could be a moment to come down, but Jim Aken may have pulled ahead here. And they decide pretty quickly. We'll see what goes up on the board. Maybe as many as 3. And it is 3 as Jim Aken takes a 5-2 lead here after 3 ends in the first set. So Joanna took a bit of a risk early on that with that shot, hoping to just take that Jim Aken bowl that was on the jack out and try and take the point. Doesn't always work out, but you can take those risks certainly early on in a match like this, and plenty of time to recover, of course. Of course, when you have her skills, you have the confidence that goes with that and allows you to take those types of shots. For second to the back. And Jim will try to match that bowl in the back. Might have wanted it to pull up a bit more. And right through the head to the back. Jim Aken with his final bowl of the fourth end. And this one will take just brush by the jack. So it is a toucher. And from our vantage point here, difficult to see who is holding at the moment. Those are two of Jim Aken's bowls in the back, and then there's that bowl off to the side, which I believe is Joanna Cooper's. And another draw in there by Cooper. And he'll have a look and see where the points are. There's a couple of really close bowls there, especially when it comes to determining the ones in the back. And we're going to pull out the measuring tape. So they hard to say. They pulled aside Jim Aken's bowl first, I believe, but we will wait and see. Jim has the mat, so he has won another end here. And we'll just wait and see what Tom Barrage puts on the board on the other side. And it is a single point to Jim Aken. And after four ends, he has a 4-point lead. Jim has been long bowling many decades. In fact, about 45 years. We'll tell you a story about you shared with us from the PCO this week that at some point in this match that he has told us. So Jim Aitken has the bowl in the front. Joanna Cooper's is in the back. As Jim pulls up in front. Not much in it so far. And that's nice from Joanna Cooper. Pulls up jack level. And Aitken bumps Joanna's bowl a little bit. May not have moved it from being first, though. And very, very nice on that shot. So Cooper in a good spot, maybe holding a few here. Jim's final bowl of the fifth end. He's drawing to the inside here. He has it, and he has done it. Rests up nicely against Cooper's bowl there. And from our angle, certainly appears to be holding one. That type of precision draw that Jim Aitken has developed over his nearly half century of lawn bowls. And certainly a testament to his skills and experience. Cooper coming with weight. Driving shot, looking to remove some of those bowls, gets the front bowl and it peels off. And Jim Aitken takes another end. So another single point and another end won by Jim Aitken here in this first set of our championship final here at the Pacific Coast Open. So Jim is off to a sharp start in this championship final. And we mentioned nearly, nearly 50 years of lawn bowling in his life. Jim was also past president of Bowls Canada and Bowls BC. And of course, he is a lifetime member of Stanley Park Lawn Bowling here in Vancouver. Also, also a member of Team Canada. Joanna Cooper opening the sixth end, in danger of losing her first set in this entire tournament. She needs to pull back 5 points over the next couple of ends. And Aitken with a nice draw. Joanna, of course, no stranger to high level elite bowling around the world. She has been involved in player development work in New Zealand and has bowled competitively there as her bowl drifts right through the head. Jim Aken is holding one. One and a measure, says Tom Berridge, the marker. Getting back to Joanna Cooper here as she delivers her third bowl of the sixth end. She continues to be busy internationally. She is on the Canadian team, and she also will be representing Canada at the Hong Kong Classic this November. Always a nice highlight on the international calendar. No change in the head. Jamaican still holding the one, and possibly a second on a measure. Joanna Cooper owns the two bowls in the back here that you can see with our mouse. But this line here is all Jamaican at the moment. This calls on that bowl to keep on rolling. Not too far, though. So with Aitken holding one and possibly a second, there is room on this side and room in here for Joanna to draw in there. This bowl up top, though, may be a bit of a barrier when trying to break in, would be something that she'd have to consider. But of course, she will have her own ideas here, perhaps. And coming down with weight once again, she's looking to break it up. And bumps off one of those front bowls. It was Jim Aken's bowl that she removed. So we'll see how this changes the complexion of the scoring. Aken's bowl is in front of the jack, and it is Cooper's bowl in the back, and it's close enough to measure here. most importantly, Joanna has to take the point here. Otherwise, the set is over as the math will not work going into the final end. And we'll just wait for final confirmation here from our marker. But by the looks of it, Jim Aken may have taken the point. And if he has taken the point, he would have taken the first set of this match. And that would have been the first set that Joanna Cooper has lost in this entire tournament. And that is indeed the case. So Jim Aken is halfway to collecting $1,600 as the winner of the Pacific Coast Open. But also a clean slate for Joanna Cooper to work with as she gets to start over in this second set and in her effort to force perhaps extra ends in this match. Jim planting two bowls on either side of the jack. Joanna hasn't quite found her draw game at this distance. Aitken is holding. And this is nice from Joanna Cooper. Nice draw to the jack. And just looking for a little something here to break Jim's momentum. And look at Jim Aitken there. Just nudges it and goes in there, and now it's all up for debate. Our camera angle favors Jim's bowl right next to the jack. It's Joanna Cooper's bowl just in front. There's final bowl of the first end of the second set. And and it just brushes through. So we'll wait for the players to determine who won the set, but our camera seems to favor Jim Aitken. And Jim has peeled off an impressive streak of ends since falling behind 2-0 early on. With her opening bull. And pulls up well short. Hmm. Joanna with a very measured, smooth, athletic delivery. It's very methodical and very consistent most of the time. Certainly has been something to behold in this tournament that has gotten her this far. And Jim continues to draw towards the jack and is holding, looks to be three at the moment. And once again, this is nice from Joanna. And a shot she really needed at this point. Jim will go down and have a look. Difficult draw. It is Joanna Cooper's bowl that is there behind the jack in the back. So something that Jim needs to consider if he decides to go in for the draw and maybe carry the jack with him. From our vantage point, Joanna Cooper's bowl that's holding right now is not right on the jack. There's about 3 inches between of space between that bowl and the jack at the moment. See what Jim does here. Tries to go in and carry the jack, but doesn't get quite enough green on that. And that creates an opening here for Joanna Cooper. Final bowl of the second end of this second set. And she'll play it a bit safe, take the point, and we're tied up. So, really entertaining start to this second set as Joanna Cooper and Jim Aken trade points here, having a very quick look at the third place game that's underway right now. Pat Bird took the first set of that third place match against Jerome Kirby, but it's Jerome Kirby up 2-1 after two ends. So Joanna's going to move the mat up here in order to try and change the change the distance a little bit and maybe change the tempo of this match. It's just a the jack's just a few inches in front of the tee at the moment. And Cooper starting to find her tempo a bit. An Aitken coming in that looks a very close, maybe a shade inside that black bowl in front. And this looks good from Cooper as well. Pull up just short of the jack. Didn't get as much distance as she might have hoped. And Jim just quickly delivers his third bowl of this third end. And oh, a little lucky. Jim almost promoted that Joanna Cooper bowl closer to the jack, but instead will take the back by the ditch. Joanna Cooper's final bowl of this third end. Once again, trying to bump inside, and that's lovely. That is top notch from Joanna Cooper. And that leaves a very difficult shot for Jim on his final bowl. This is Jim Aken's bowl at the back, though, here, which is a consideration. These three bowls here are also a concern for Jim. Curls in behind, and may not be much of a change, but this is an important development for Joanna Cooper in her comeback here. Obviously, too, they're going to look and see if Joanna may have scored a third here. And they're quite happy to proceed without measuring. And we'll see, we'll get confirmation as to exactly how many Joanna managed to score. And she does get two out of this. So once again, Cooper shortening the distance of the rink, moving that mat up. Ooh, Jim almost takes the jack. Having a look at the third place game, Pat Bird has pulled a few points back. They're just putting up the score right now as Joanna Cooper manages to take the jack. Uh, Pat Bird is up 5-4 on Jerome Kirby after five ends in the second set, and if Bird can hold on to that, he will win third place here at the Pacific Coast Open. As Aken sends one to the back. And this is another good bowl from Joanna. She's really starting to find her draw game now. Jim will try and come up there, but he actually promotes Joanna's bowl, and now this is a heap of trouble for Jim Aitken. That is that is Joanna Cooper's cluster of three bowls that are surrounding the jack at this moment. Jim still has one final bowl to throw, but Joanna Cooper has a great opportunity to really break this set open here in the fourth end. She'll send it to the back just to provide a bit of cover, just to limit Jim Aken's options in terms of breaking up that head. Jim's having a good look at this, and a lot of players talk about pressure shots and the pressure you feel making these sort of shots. Jim, being so experienced, looking at the head, he's looking at it like a puzzle. He's almost amused by it all. And Jim's good, unassuming nature, certainly prevalent while looking at that. Here's his final bowl, and he's coming with power. Let's see what he does. Oh, it peels off the front bowl, and Joanna Cooper has a huge end here. So looks to be 3 to Joanna, and we'll just let them confirm. But that is a huge momentum shift in this match. So it is 6-1 for Joanna Cooper here in this second set after 4 ends. And she has certainly made up a lot of the room that she needs to drive this match into extra ends. Cooper's bowl pulling up front. Jamaican pulling up short, but he is the one holding right now. And another nice draw from Jim Aitken. Or I should say from Joanna Cooper, of course. Jim now coming with power with those size 5 Drake's Pride and removes the bowl. It was Joanna Cooper's bowl that survived that takeout shot by Jim Aken, and it is the difference right now as she sends one to the back. There is a live bull right now in the ditch that belongs to Jim Aken, I believe. And that bull is live from the fact that it was a toucher. It's Jim Aken's final shot at the end. Comes through, so looks like Joanna Cooper has the point. Meanwhile, over in the third place game, Pat King has opened up a 6-4 lead over Jerome Kirby in the second set. And that one may be reaching its conclusion very soon. So 8 are on the board now for Jim Aitken. And we're through 5. Or sorry, I should say 8 are on the board. It's not for Jim Aitken, but for Joanna Cooper. So Cooper now lying 2, right behind the jack. Joanna trying to force extra ends here in this championship final of the Pacific Coast Open. She's in a very good spot right now. And a fine draw. Jim Aitken pulls up short. So Cooper's shot bowl right up here looks to be just about 6 inches away, 6 or 7 inches away from the jack. Maybe some contest in terms of second, but we'll see. And she doesn't nudge the jack. Jim Aitken wasting no time with his final shot of the sixth end. Launched it as soon as Joanna's shot came to a stop. So with this, Joanna Cooper has won the end, and with this has forced extra ends by the looks of it. As with the 9-1 lead, of course, there's not enough bowls remaining in order to try and tie this up. So the players will not play the seventh end and instead will proceed to extra ends. So there are 3 extra ends being played. The first player to win 2 of these ends will win the match. And the point totals in the ends don't really matter. All they have to do is win the end. So, so the Bruce Matheson Open Singles will come down to a best of 3 ends. As Jim Aken draws on his first shot, the applause you hear comes from the end of the third place match. Pat Bird, who was part of the winning team of in the mixed pairs open earlier this week, will also walk home as will go home as the third place winner here in the Pacific Coast Open, as he is taken with his victory over Jerome Kirby in 2 sets. We've got a great one going here, though. We are in extra ends right now between Joanna Cooper and Jim Aken. And Cooper's second bowl just falls short. Or Aken's bowl, I mean. Joanna has certainly found her game after dropping her first set of the entire tournament. And this is good from Jim, but it won't be enough to move that bowl off the jack. So right now, it is Joanna Cooper holding. That's her bowl right next to the jack. And all Jim needs to do is find a way to get that bowl off the jack and stick. It's a hard shot. It's got nice weight, but no, it's bending. It's bending way too soon. And Cooper will not throw her final bowl. She has the point and has taken the first of these extra ends here at the Pacific Coast Open. So it's all for Jim Aken to do now, as Cooper has done a great job in coming back in this match after dropping that first set. Jim's first bowl, and it's a sweet draw. Of course, Jim being from the Stanley Park Lawn Bowling Club has many supporters on hand here today at PIBC. And Cooper's second shot. And Aken pulling up just alongside. And Joanna Cooper asked for permission to view the head. And this is what she sees. She sees Jim Aken's bowl very, very, very close to the jack. It's not a toucher. It's there's a couple of inches gap between that bowl and the jack. Throwing some weight here. She wants to move that and gets enough of it. Oh my, this is close. From my vantage point, the bowl in the back is Cooper's, and that may be shot at the moment. There's also a Cooper bowl off to the side that's farther off. And if that bowl in the back is indeed shot, that is the bowl that could get Joanna Cooper the title here today. Jim's going to have a good look at this. Jim Aken still has two bowls remaining in this extra end. So this shot alone is not do or die. It's going to come around that forehand side. Just drifts a bit beyond Cooper's bowl in the back. And this is a huge opportunity now for Joanna Cooper on her final bowl. There are a couple of routes right now that Jim can take to get in there in order to try and take the point and force a final extra end. But this is an opportunity for Joanna to maybe seal one of those entries. It's going to draw in just a bit closer. That's perfect. Right on the tee. And so that leaves Jim really with a draw option here. He must get the point here in order to force the extra end. So the first two bowls in the back here, where you can see with the mouse, these are Cooper's bowls. This is Jim Aitken's back in the back, which he might look at a way to put into play here. Jim has an important choice to make because the future of the match rides on this shot. Jim Akin's final shot, and he's coming with takeout weight. And it's coming in. Oh, it only takes one away, and that will seal it. Joanna Cooper is the 2025 Bruce Matheson's Open Singles champion and has won the singles competition here at the Pacific Coast Open. Joanna was absolutely perfect throughout the tournament, goes undefeated right from day one, and has did not lose a match, lost only one set in the entire tournament, and that was the first set of this final. So Jim Aitken, second place finisher, just a legend of the game who's been involved in bowls for half a century. He takes this in good measure. If you talk to him, he said he never expected to be here to begin with, but gave Joanna Cooper everything that she could handle. But she is the champion and the deserved winner. What a fantastic end to a great tournament. The second edition of the Bruce Matheson Open Singles and the second edition of the Pacific Coast Open. And one of the other great things about this being an open tournament for both men and women, Joanna Cooper is also the first woman to win the Bruce Matheson's Open Singles as well in the two editions of this tournament. We have had just a great week of world class bowls here at Pacific Indoor Bowling Club. And we have a bunch of people that we want to thank. We want to thank the executive of the Pacific Indoor Bowling Club for putting things together, also for supporting this live stream. This is all run by volunteers. No one is paid to do this live stream, and it was the club that decided to make the investment and to put to put the gear together necessary to help bring this event to you. Also, want to thank all of the volunteers here at PIBC, who the markers, the folks in the kitchen who fed the bowlers, and everyone else here, and everybody who had a role in organizing this fantastic tournament. Joanna Cooper is the 2025 Bruce Matheson Open Singles champion. And on that note, she will take home $1,600 in prize money as part of the $13,600 prize pool. Of course, Jim Aken will take home the second place prize, and Pat Bird from Calgary, Alberta, is our third place winner. So that'll wrap things up for us here at the Pacific Indoor Bowling Club. I want to thank you all for joining us throughout the week. It has been a pleasure to bring these matches to you, and I hope you enjoyed them. I'm Bill Curry, and for everyone here at PIBC and for everyone who is involved in the live stream, thanks so much for joining us and hope to see you soon with more live bowls from PIBC and also next year from the Pacific Coast Open.